to give the floor to Mikie.
Yes. Thank you. Well, thank you all so much for coming out. I apologize at the early hour. I have to get back to DC. I'm a little nervous about it because if you've ever spent any time in the winter in DC, the town does not handle snow very well, and so we will see how they're operating. But votes are still on. Congress is still fighting hard to get the government open again, and that's what I've got to get down south to do. I really do appreciate everybody coming out in this office opening. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Kelly. They have done what we call in the Navy yeoman's work to get this office up and running. I'm not sure if you saw the video that we put out just about a month ago, I think. This place was hanging wires and, you know, just none of this was here. So the work it took to get this office up and running, and they were so dedicated because it was so incredibly important to them and to me to make sure that, like they said, like Jill just said, we begin doing the people's work right away. That you know where to go to, that you have a place to come talk to people about your concerns and your issues in the district. So I'm so happy that we were able to make this happen. We still have to get a lot of stuff from the Government Services Agency with respect to internet and phones and this. It's all, there are many, many requirements, I'm sure, surprising no one here with the government. But we will get up and running as soon as we can, and we have contact information in the meantime for everybody to get in touch with us, and so we can start to work right away. We picked Parsippany. I like to say Parsippany is sort of at the crossroads of the 11th District, quite literally. Quite literally, with all our highways that come here. We have, you know, some good memories of this area from the Parsippany Sheridan. You might have made it to the victory celebration. And we also have parking here. We have great parking. We made sure that there's public transportation to get here. And we just really felt like with the 11th District as it's currently constituted, this was going to be the easiest place for everyone to get to. That said, this is not the only place we will be. We do intend to start holding, sometimes people will refer to it as Congress on your corner. With our weather, it's going to be probably more like Congress in your library or Congress in your municipal hall. But we will be going around the district and we will be putting those notifications out so we can also come to you. Not everybody will have to come to us all the time. And to really try to push constituent services and make sure that people are aware of just what it is that your congressperson can do to you with respect to Social Security and service academies and you name it. So we will be pushing that out to people throughout the district so we can get in touch. So you might wonder, you might say, you know, Mikie, during your campaign I saw you every day and twice on Sundays. What have you been doing? And so I want to let you know what I have been doing in Washington. So the number one thing I've been focused on is how we get government open again. And so one of the very first votes I took was to open our government. I thought it was a good first start because what we did without changes was pass the Republican Senate bill. And that was something that the Republican Senate had just passed in December, a couple of weeks ago. So I thought it was smart not to change it so we could just try to get some momentum and moving, get government open. There are people across the country have been talking about border security. We have some Democrats in the caucus who are very thoughtful about border security. We have Abby Spanberger, who has done drug interdictions for the CIA, and we have talked very clearly about how drugs are getting into our country through our ports of entry. We have Jason Crow, who did drug interdiction as an Army Ranger in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we're working on how we provide the very best border security with the very best bang for your buck. Because something that I feel like I have a mandate to do coming from New Jersey is to take care of our taxpayer dollars. And that's very important to me so that when we're spending taxpayer dollars, we're spending it in the best possible way. So we are working very hard to get government open, trying to come up with ideas that, you know, that will create some movement so we can get the government open and then continue to negotiate on issues important to the safety and security of Americans. I also co-sponsored my first bill. I feel I feel like it's funny being, you know, a freshman in Congress, I feel like I'm in my first day of kindergarten. You know, I co-sponsored my first bill. But it was a great one. It was really, it was something that is near and dear to me, universal background checks. Yes. The reason I love this bill is because 97% of the people in this country agree with this bill, and I really love that it's the first step in forming the same kind of broad coalition we created here in the campaign. Now we're going to create that in Washington. I tell people all the time that New Jersey is the state of the future. This was the epicenter of what just happened in 2018, and now we're going to make it the epicenter of what's going to go on in this country for the next 50 years. I think the ideas coming out of New Jersey are some of the ideas that are really going to lead our country to the future. So I'm very excited to start with a bill that has broad support and that really takes care of people, and that's something that we here value very much. So I co-sponsored my first bill. I delivered my first floor speech. I mean, I don't want to brag. You guys might have caught that on C-SPAN. But I took the opportunity to remind people how critical it is that we get the government open again vis-a-vis our transportation and, you know, our transportation issues and needs, and pointed out that we've got to get this first step. You know, we were working to get a transportation bill to get that part of government open again, and that's the first step because we've desperately got to move on to the second step, which is the Gateway Tunnel project. Yeah. So, you guys might know Jackie Burns, my comms director. Yeah. So Jackie Burns, I think one of the proudest moments of her career was when I was called relentlessly on message, as Jackie Burns is somebody that wants us to always be relentless. Well, I can assure you that when it comes to the Gateway Tunnel project, I have been relentlessly on message to the point where I was in a meeting of the New Dems, which is one of the largest caucuses in our caucus right now. The New Dems conference is 92 strong right now. And I was there, and a woman stood up and said, transportation and infrastructure is so important to us because people like Mikie Sherrill ran on the Gateway Tunnel project. And I was like, yes, I did. And I even was at a group to talk about pharmaceuticals and how important it is we get prices down while also investing in our companies and our great jobs here in New Jersey. And I was saying, if we're really going to grow our great jobs here, we've got to get the great Gateway Tunnel funded, and everyone sort of ended the conversation by, you know, we're really going to push for this Gateway Tunnel. Perfect. So we are working hard on that. I was just, as I mentioned, the New Dem Coalition is the part of the party that is looking to the future, looking to ideas for how we create a great economy for workers and a great future for this country. They look at things like infrastructure. They have committees on the future of work. And so it has broad support. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of what we call frontline members. Frontline members are members that run in districts like ours, purple districts, districts that, you know, have varying opinions on varying issues. And so what I need to do is to talk to our frontline members, especially our frontline freshman members, to understand what went on in your district. How can you support the Gateway Tunnel? No, I'm teasing. What went on in your district? How did you win? What's the coalition? What did you run on? And how is that important to your district, and how is that going to move our country forward? And what should we be looking at when we're looking at these bills? Are there any things in this bill that are going to hurt your district or aren't good for moving our country forward? And so those are the kinds of things that I'll be doing. Oh, thank you. I'll be in the leadership meetings. I've already been in the leadership meetings for the New Dems conference, and I think this could be a good platform for us to really use what we've learned here in New Jersey, again, about forming broad coalitions, about how we move this country into the future, and start to get the rest of the Democratic caucus on board. I'm very excited about that. And then I announced the date for our first town hall, which will be next Tuesday, coming right up. So that's going to be really exciting. Hopefully y'all can make it. We got as big a space as we could. I believe it'll hold about 400 people. And we also, but we want to make it fair, so it's first come, first seated. So we'll try to get everyone in there, and but if for some reason you're not there, this is the first of many. This is just something we'll be continuing to do. I wanted to get out here today to spend, because I had promised that one of the first things I would do is to have a Monday with Mikie. So I wanted to make sure that I got here and said hi to everybody, but we will continue to do this as well. I want to make sure that I'm as accessible as possible, and so we'll continue to get the word out and the issues out that I'm working on in Washington, so you can weigh in on those as well. So thank you all so much for coming this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support, your ideas, your help. Like I said, the #1 priority now is to get our government open again, and then we can move forward on a lot of the other great issues that we have here in New Jersey. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Morristown.